Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today I am here with a book haul. My library has a sale twice a year where you can go and get like used, donated books really cheap. So I went with my best friend last week and picked up a whole bunch of books, and I can't wait to talk about them with you. So let's see what I found. The first book I got was Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I have not read anything by Gillian Flynn. I know she's very famous. I've heard of Dark Places, but I've never read it before, so we'll see what that one's about. I got The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. This is a book about something that happens overnight, but it's told from an autistic boy's point of view. And I've heard about this a lot. Something tells me that it's like a musical or a play too. I haven't seen that or read this before. My best friend read this, really liked it, so when I saw it, I knew I had to pick it up. I got House of Sand and Fog by Andre Dubas III. Again, heard of this book, never seen it, never seen the movie. There's a movie, I believe Ben Kingsley and Jennifer Connelly are in it. Love both of them. It says, a riveting novel of almost unbearable suspense. 3 fragile yet determined people become dangerously entangled in a relentlessly escalating crisis. Again, I've heard of it before, and I saw the book there, so I picked it up. I got Mortal Danger by Anne Aguirre. This was in the young adult section. It sounded kind of interesting. Let's see, revenge is a dish best served cold. It's like high school social drama. But I don't know, I saw it, and it looked interesting, so I picked it up. I got One of Those Hideous Books Where the Mother Dies by Sonia Sones, or Sonat Sones? I'm not quite sure. It sounds like a sad book, but this woman, this girl, her mom dies. She has to move to LA to be with her father, who she has never met. And apparently he's famous. So, I don't know. Again, in the young adult section, sounded interesting, picked it up. China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan. This is the second book in, I don't know if it's a trilogy, but yes, it is. The Crazy Rich Asians is the first book, and then China Rich Girlfriend, and the last book is Rich People Problems. And I've read Crazy Rich Asians, but I've never read this one. So, again, saw it, picked it up. I got Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. I had listened to the abridged version of this earlier, like in the fall. And then I listened to Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs was wonderful. So I haven't been able to find like a full copy of Red Dragon. So when I saw it, I was like, hey, I want to read this whole book and not just listen to the abridged version. So again, it was 50 cents. So I got it. I got Audrey Hepburn's Neck by Alan Brown. I don't know anything about this book, but my favorite actress of all time is Audrey Hepburn. So obviously, I have to get a book called Audrey Hepburn's Neck, because it sounds like this person is obsessed with her neck. I don't know, but it sounded intriguing. The title did. And I like the cover, so I picked it up. I got Where the Heart Is by Billy Letts. I absolutely adore this movie. I've seen it so many times. This is a book that they had many, many, many copies of, and my best friend was shopping with me, so we're like, does this mean that we need to get this book? We both need to get a copy and do like a buddy read? And the answer is yes. So basically, this is about a girl, a 17-year-old girl who is pregnant. She is headed for California with her boyfriend. She gets stranded at Walmart and ends up having her baby in Walmart. Right? That's what happens in the movie. And then basically she like befriends people and does something with her life. But it's a wonderful movie. Ashley Judd is in it. Natalie Portman is in it. It's a great movie. I want to watch it again, but now I can read the book. I got The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson. This was also in the young adult section. I don't really know a lot about it, but I've heard a lot about it on YouTube. I've heard of it. It's, I think, a horror book, but it looks like a mystery book, possibly. So, an irresistible story about kids who spend an unforgettable summer investigating local ghost stories and urban legends. And that sounds like right up my alley. So, again, I saw it, and I'd heard of it, so I picked it up. You're going to see a theme in this. I saw it. I had either heard of it or I hadn't, but it was cheap, so I got a copy of it. The Friday Night Knitting Club by Kate Jacobs. This is the same thing as Where the Heart Is. There were several copies of this book. My best friend and I love to knit. In fact, we used to host a knitting club last year. And so when we saw this, we're like, obviously we have to both buy it and have a buddy read about the Friday Night Knitting Club. So that's why I have a copy of this book. The Death Collector by Justin Richards. I can't remember. I think this looks like, yes, a very YA. The foggy streets of Victorian London are thick with thieves, but when Eddie Dipper Hopkins steals George Archer's wallet, he has no idea that he is entering a bizarre, dark world. He's trying to unleash horror onto the streets of London. I don't know. It sounded interesting. And, you know, I love a good YA thriller book. I got 2 vampire romances. I got I'm the Vampire, That's Why, and Don't Talk Back to Your Vampire by Michelle Bardsley. These just look like, you know, cozy romances or possibly cozy mysteries with a vampire twist. So I picked them up. I got Ringworld by Larry Niven. Larry Niven is my father's favorite author. And so I picked this up and I sent him a picture and I said, do you have this book? And he didn't ever respond. So when I saw him later that night after I had bought it, I said, do you have this book? And he said, yeah, of course I have that book. It's my favorite book. One of my favorite Larry Niven books. And I was like, oh, well, I guess now I have a copy. And he's like, no, I still want that because now I can lend out my other copy that's falling apart and keep this nicer copy for myself. So so now, for now, I have a copy of Ringworld by Larry Niven until my dad steals it. I got The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. I'm not quite sure how to say that. Haven't read this, have not seen the movie, but heard a lot about it. You know, it's just, it says a moving portrait of modern Afghanistan. Again, I've heard a lot about this book. It's one that a lot of people have read and enjoyed, and a lot of people have enjoyed the movie. I mean, I don't really know if enjoyed is the right word, because I'm pretty sure it's pretty tragic and sad, but I've always wanted to read it, and so I picked it up. I got When the Reckoning Comes by LaTanya McQueen, and this is, I'm pretty sure this is a horror book. I've heard a lot about it. It's one of those books that they say kind of like a lot of people should read it, especially like horror lovers like I am. So, I don't really know much about it at all, but it looks like there's a woman, Mira, who left her small, segregated town. Maybe not horror. I don't know. Maybe it's contemporary fiction. Anyway, well, it says something about haunted by spirits of slaves and the terrifying memory of a ghost she saw on a terrible day when a dare gone wrong almost got Jess, the boy she secretly loved, arrested for murder. So Mira has fled her town, but she has come back because of one of her friend's weddings, and they all, it says, as the weekend unfolds, Mira, Jesse, and Celine are forced to acknowledge their history together and to save themselves from what is to come. I don't know. Again, heard a lot about it. Saw a copy, picked it up. I got A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. I know that there is a movie based on this, like an English movie with Tom Hanks in it. I've heard it's not as good as the book. Haven't read it. I haven't read anything by Frederick Bachman, but I've heard a lot about this, and if I ever feel in the mood to bawl my eyes out, I'm probably going to read this book. So who knows when that will actually happen, because I don't actually like to cry that much, but I like owning sad books. I got Sleeping Beauties by Susanna Moore. I don't know what this is. It sounded interesting. It looked interesting. It looked interesting. Maybe contemporary fiction. It was in the general fiction section. But it's set in Hawaii. And there's a 13-year-old runaway who's raised by her eccentric aunt. And she is a collector of legends, myths, and rites on their island. So, I don't know. It sounds interesting, and I liked the name, so I got it. I got Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. I adore this movie. I did not know it was a book. And I don't know if, did the book come first and then they made it into a movie? Or is this, the the novelization of the movie. I don't know, but I love that movie, and it has some pictures from the movie in it, and so I just had to get it. I got The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kind. This is my best friend's favorite book. Apparently she was going to get it for herself, but she asked me if I had read it, and I said no, so I grabbed it from her and put it in my bag. So sorry about that. But now I can read this book because I've never read it. I've never seen the movie. And it just seems like something that I should have read by now. So I got a copy. I stole a copy from my best friend. And maybe now I'll go buy her a nice, new, pretty copy. But I have this one for now. I got Blood Scion by Deborah Follett. I'm not quite sure how to say that last name. This was in the young adult fiction section. It sounds like it's a fantasy book. 15-year-old Sloane can incinerate an enemy at will. She is a scion, a descendant of the ancient Orisha gods, but under the brutal rule of the Lucius, her identity means her death. Her mother knew as much. She disappeared trying to hide Sloane's truth. So, I don't know. Sounds kind of cool. I love this cover. It just is so, intriguing and awesome, and sounded interesting, so I picked it up. I got Influence by Sarah Shepard and Lilia Buckingham. I, again, don't know what this is. It's in the young adult section. It sounds, again, kind of like Mortal Danger, like a high school drama, social drama. Rich people drama. But they're kids. They're teenagers. So, I don't know. Sounded interesting. I got Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. This is also a TV show. I haven't seen that either. It is, I've heard about it. It's like a sci-fi book about a pandemic, I think, and life after that. So I got it. I got Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I don't remember much about this. I just know that a lot of people, it's like a true crime thing, true crime book. A lot of people have talked about it. I'm pretty sure Gabby Reeds has talked about it being one of her favorite books. It's on my ever-growing list of books that I want to read that I haven't yet. And so again, I saw a copy and I was like, well, this was meant to be, because now I can get it and have my own copy of it. So now I have a copy of Night Film. I got Dig by A.S. King. Again, don't remember what this is. Oh, yeah. Ooh, it sounds weird. 5 teenagers lost in the Hemmings family's maze of tangled secrets. It looks like they used to be potato farmers, and now they're not. It's a young adult book. Something about it sounded interesting, so I picked it up. And I guess reading it now, those are potatoes. That's what's on the front. That's why it's called Dig. I guess that makes sense. I got Transmission, My Quest to Be a Beard by Alex Birdie. Again, don't know very much about this. Apparently, Alex Birdie is a famous YouTuber, and this was his memoir kind of about growing up as a transgendered teen. So it sounded interesting, looks interesting, so I decided to get it. All right, the last book I got was White Oleander by Janet Fitch. Again, I have not read any of the books that I got, so I think that's pretty good. I have a hard time buying books that I've already read because I don't always want to reread books, and so I don't want to but I also have a hard time buying books I haven't read, because then if I don't like it, I feel like I wasted my money. But this was the perfect way to do that, because I didn't waste my money, because most of them were 50 cents to $1. Anyway, White Oleander is also a movie. I have not seen the movie either. It's, I don't know, an unforgettable story of Astrid's journey through a series of foster homes in her effort to find a place for herself in impossible circumstances. So, I think it's like a fictional memoir. But anyway, I've heard of it. It sounded interesting, so I picked it up. Total, I counted, I got 28 books and I only paid $25, and you can't beat a deal like that. They are having another sale in September. I'm saving my coins for that one. This is actually the first time that I'd ever been to the Friends of the Library sale. I don't know why. I'd never gone before, but I never had, and this year I decided to just go ahead and sit down and go. Not sit down and go. I decided to just go ahead and go, and I found some awesome things there, and I can't wait to go shopping again in the fall. So now I have a ton of books, more to add to my TBR jar of books I own that I haven't read. 28 of them, because again, I haven't read any of these books. And I want to know, have you read any of these books? What did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.